What you didn't see was an extraordinary get on that point from Cameron Luhring. There's Luhring dancing around. There's his partner, Jonathan Truong. We are off and running in our gold medal match. Jonathan Medina Alvarez, another wardrobe change in that Lotto top with his sponsored logos, Performance, Pello, and La Cochina. And the tape popped that up. Truong couldn't adjust his upper half, and it'll be a side out for Medina Alvarez and Broderick.
That's a weird one to get started with. That's why the chuckle came from Truong and Luhring. They'll try to get back to work here. A little bit more fundamental.
Quick point off the Broderick serve. 101. Again, 2 out of 3 to 11 to start us off. And Medina Alvarez coming with some of those aggressive single-style drives. I thought he could have done that more in the first matchup. Didn't feel he needed to, is what he told me. And not surprising, he's emptying the bag of tricks here now that all is on the table for the taking. And that's light work for Broderick right there off the heavy work of Medina Alvarez, 201.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm really going to be interested. I know it's a tired kind of analysis, but going to be very interested to see if the rest helps or hurts Broderick and JMA. So far, they do look more rested. They do look more fluid and have a rhythm even for sitting as long as they did.
Yeah, and that's to be expected. You know, a 10-minute break was given to the players, Truong and Luhring, after the bronze medal match to recuperate. And there's a couple of drives from Medina Alvarez. Very aggressive trajectory. The lead to a side out. Oh, a 2-1. There's Jonathan Truong. Just win, baby. He's an Al Davis fan.
Yes, he is.
Raiders fan. Yeah, Jonathan's coming right after him here in this first game of the gold medal match. This is a much more aggressive Jonathan Medina Alvarez than we saw in the first match.
Also, equipment observation. Not that it means anything or not, with Truong putting on some K-tape around that right knee. He did have an issue, it seemed, maybe with the right shoulder in the match with JMA and Broderick earlier. But it's been a long day. They've played a lot of games and matches. It's even for as young as some of these folks are, the body's still going to take a toll. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Another side off, although the first point was earned. The good news for these guys is on the Masters gel surface, it will hurt less than it would tomorrow with that force reduction. And here's the other thing. I've had some players comment to me when they're playing these long stretches of games. We talk a lot about the force reduction of this Lake Hold Masters gel. We don't talk as much about the energy restitution. 70% just to allow you to stay tip-top for much, much longer.
I will add on to that. You're right about the next day stuff. A fantastic Ernie setup for Truong. That's what people talk about the most is the next day. They still feel tired and worn out the day of because obviously you just went through all that, but it's that recovery that's so crucial, especially in a 3-day tournament.
Luhring to serve, 1-2-1. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, Joe.
Just teeing up the big man.
Teeing up, yeah. Lanky lefty. You got to come with something better than that for Jaden Broderick.
Yeah, I can tell you weren't as confident when you said it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to work on that.
Oh, what an awkward bounce off the tape. It somehow stays in, clearly in, on the sideline for Jaden Broderick.
There's a slogan for Gamma as Broderick has all their gear on. Even when you think it's out, it's in. Gamma Pickleball.
Not bad. That's better than the lanky lefty. That was a phenomenal shot regardless of his nickname.
There's a couple where they've just been right where Broderick wants it. You got to go after his feet if you can or slow things down a little bit. But that goes against the strategy, right? Luhring and Truong, they want to go be more aggressive.
Switch sign given behind the back there for Luhring, and indeed they do switch off the serve. Yeah, I thought if Jonathan Truong would have given you adjustments, one of them may have been. You'll recall he had some trouble attacking the middle, not surprisingly, against the length of Broderick. But thus far, he's stayed with it.
Well, you got to consider the fact that he's going middle against a lefty. and as opposed to a righty on that side. So the middle isn't as open when you got Broderick there with his athleticism and build, but also the fact that his paddle's naturally going to be in the middle.
Not just a lefty with that wingspan provides so much whip. It just led me to another nickname idea for Broderick here in just a second. 4-1-2. And that's the shot that Luhring has been dominating with, that backhand ATP. Couldn't quite get it there. Great start for Medina Alvarez and Broderick, 5-1-2. That whip-like effect from the long-limbed sometimes will earn you the nickname Gumby. He's from Greenville. I'm a huge alliteration guy. Greenville Gumby.
Yes. I do like that one. That's better than Lanky Lefty for sure.
Yeah, it's
like
more imaginative.
And it's more personal. That's where he's from, where he resides. Heck yeah.
Well, probably have to run it by him first.
Unofficial.
Yeah, unofficial. Well, Greenville Gumby with neon green Jonathan sporting that Pillow Lotto shirt. Speaking of Pillow, as side out needed there from Truong and Luhring and obtained. Got to give a shout out to our man Bill Durham, the owner of Pillow Paddles and Pillow Pickleball. He's tuning in, checking in between matches, checking out our Performance Pickleball RVA YouTube channel.
Real quick, back to the Greenville tidbit. That is also how these two meet, because Jonathan's dad lives in Greenville. So when he's down there visiting his dad, he does his best to meet up with Broderick and get in some games.
Much needed point there for Truong and Luhring. 3-5-1 opening game, best of 3-11. Start this gold medal match. Hearing a lot of cheers around Performance Pickleball RVA because we have our skill brackets going on over on Skechers Stadium Court 2, the women's 4.5 division. Man, we saw some talent in there.
Absolutely.
Trish Hammer, who's a performance player, teamed up with Carrie Wethington. They had them hooting and hollering over in Kitchen RVA.
They definitely have a strong fan base.
We're getting to that stage. We have a full bar, that stage of the day. Libations lead to much louder crowds. That is a known fact. And Broderick just dusted the line there.
Ooh. Yeah, it's tough from our vantage point, but.
Nope. No, he did not. So 4-5-2.
Just an adjustment real quick with the official on the scorecard.
Driving slice backhand.
Wow.
Luhring.
Like they drew it up.
And Jonathan Truong looking over and saying, I got all mine. Luhring extended that beyond the point that 99.9% of players would have. Well, there's that speed up that Luhring promised on Medina Alvarez. Jonathan keen to the challenge, 6-4-1.
Nothing's going to get you going more than the fact that you can tell what the opponents are trying to do to you, and you're able to repel it each and every time. And the advantage emotionally to JMA and Broderick.
Asked Jonathan if the chemistry was growing game by game between he and Broderick as the day has unfolded, and he said, I guess he's just a heck of a player. But he did also add that with the other lefty, he is really not accustomed to playing the left side as he is here, allowing the longer Broderick to play that dominant forehand side, which is the right side with two left-handed players. And he said, I'm just kind of learning as I go here.
And he seems to be taking to it pretty well. We talked about it the last time they were on this court. He looks comfortable. They both look like they're playing really well together. Good complementary pickleball.
Well, and I mean, you got to have some humility. Gold medalist on the APP Tour, decorated tennis and pickleball pro. That is kind of considered the alpha side, which he's allowing Broderick to play. It makes sense. But sometimes ego gets in the way of that, and Jonathan taking the opposite approach here, which is awesome.
Well, and I'll say that to any pickleballer. Doubles, you have to have humility. You have a teammate. It can't be all about yourself. So for someone to be as dominant in singles as he is, it's very impressive to be able to dial that back and play the team game.
Truong waiting on that speed up from Medina Alvarez.
And great job adjusting to a dink battle. We know that they didn't want to get into one of those, but here they set it up really well. Make sure you wait for that shot that you're looking for and take advantage.
4-6-1. Here is that cross court, and they win this one. 5-6-1. Luhring on the forehand dink. And that's the adjustment right there to playing the opposite side for Medina Alvarez. That longer forehand dink. That time a good one, and a little too eager from Cameron Luhring. 5-6-2. Yep, that's just a bit long. Six.
Still.
Yeah. Well, JMA is a little upset. I don't know if it's with the call or the fact that both officials, both referees said they didn't see it.
Yeah.
I did see it. It was out.
It was out from our vantage point as well.
Kind of sitting right along that baseline. It wasn't out by much, but it was out. A reminder that our friends at Podplay bringing instant replay to Performance Pickleball RVA in the coming weeks. We would have been able to just hit the button. Ben could have just hit the button on the iPad. Right. Would have popped right up there on the screen.
That's right.
It's like tennis, man. Unimpeachable replay system, challenge system. Side out nonetheless. 6-6.
I have used it, and it's been in the facility, and some of us know how to hit that button and get the email sent to you. You really can see all the angles and be able to dispute something, albeit later on. It's not as instant as you'd like it to be, but it is a very good system, and the cameras are very well placed.
Yeah, and I actually went up and tweaked a few of those the other day with the help of Chad Silberman from Podplay. We got those dialed in even further on some of our further in courts in the facility. 6-6-2 on the Medina Alvarez serve. And it'll stay 6-6. So this game a little slower, I think, than was anticipated. Truong and Luhring have had the best of it of late.
Well, let's be honest. You can't go full bore 100% speed for an entire match, an entire game. You're going to have some lulls. And right now we're on a teetering point, and these guys know it. It's 6-6. Whoever can get the advantage here on the second half of the game might be able to pull out the win.
Great serve there from Luhring, but Medina Alvarez the quickness to get to the line regardless. And it's interesting, again, Medina Alvarez, the much more seasoned player, and it's not that he's being targeted, but it does seem that Luhring and Truong are avoiding Jaden Broderick.
Yeah.
And phenomenal point there. Broderick was mildly involved, but kind of just peppering Medina Alvarez these dink opportunities.
Yeah, that is an interesting decision that they're making, but it is working the last couple points especially. JMA with a couple into the net. That time it overextended, so it opened up the center wide open, and they take advantage there. And they're certainly cruising to this point as far as it can be said in game one to a potential game point.
8-6, and that time Medina Alvarez said, to heck with this. Just put it right on the body of Truong.
And sometimes you got to puff your chest out a little bit more and say, I know we had a strategy, but let's forget that for now. Let's just go tough and hard.
6-8. Man, Broderick. There's tough angle, speed ups. He is equal to it. And Jonathan Killshot, 7-8-1. This has been the matchup we expected it to be. Maybe not stylistically, but from a competitive standpoint. Whoa, what a shot from Luhring. And that was a change-up there from Broderick, and Luhring somehow with the slice volley on a devastating angle.
I don't know that you teach that. I think you just are born with that.
I wasn't. Thanks, parents.
Hey, we can talk good.
8-8. 8-8-2. Gold medal match, men's doubles open. It has been scintillating. Not a good drive from Medina Alvarez, and Luhring was expecting something better, and his paddle was out of position because of it.
Yeah, moving forward, that momentum, the energy coming forward, plus the paddle out of position, that's a tough one to take considering the momentum they've had.
9-8-2, momentum to Medina Alvarez and Broderick. It has swung swiftly in this opening game. It'll stay on that side, 10-8-2. And again, we've seen a much more restrained Jonathan Medina Alvarez during this doubles competition. I'm going to ask him after if that's just to maintain the composure. Jaden Broderick hasn't looked like he's needed it, but of his 17-year-old partner.
Yeah, not much coming out of Broderick except for great shots and great control, of course.
Yeah, look at that, broadcaster's jinx. 8-10-1. It would be a tall mountain to climb for Luhring and Truong should they drop this game. That would mean they'd need to win 3 in a row, 2-11 and 1-15. And Medina Alvarez with the hatchet forehand ATP. Come on.
I was just going to talk about how Medina Alvarez always moves back to the center, and that's one of the ways that he coaches as well. He's going to tell you, come back and support your partner in the center, but it's opening him up to have to really stretch on those left-handed forehands. That time it worked out perfectly on the ATP.
Anything slightly up, Medina's coming. Oh, and he got him again with the forehand ATP. Wow.
That's the
that
Digimax.
Will put it back on the side out in the pocket of Jaden Broderick. Back-to-back ATPs for our resident tour professional here, Jonathan Medina Alvarez. You know he's thinking about putting this away himself. And surprise, speed up there from Luhring. So they fended off one game point. One more coming on 10-8-2. Oh, there's the emotion from JMA. But it was Broderick right there who saved the day on that tape shot into the body, and he somehow got it back. But it's Medina Alvarez and Broderick who take game one game away from gold. It would be double gold for Medina Alvarez here in his adopted hometown and his home court at Performance. Game 2 ahead. Will it be gold for Medina Alvarez and Broderick, or will be headed to a decisive game 3? The answer lingers in 2 minutes.
Introducing Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of every pickleball league. They're ultra lightweight and responsive for incredible speed. They have Goodyear rubber outsoles with a specialized pickleball design for increased side-to-side stability and agility. Plus, they feature shock-absorbing foam and Skechers' famous relaxed fit design for incredible comfort game after game. Conquer the court in comfort. Skechers Pickleball, the official footwear of every pickleball league.
Game 2, gold medal match. Jonathan Medina Alvarez, Jaden Broderick. Should they claim this game to 11, they are gold medalists of the Liz Moore & Associates Pickleball Resolution, $1,000 top doubles prize. And Jaden Broderick couldn't handle the heat that time from Cameron Luhring.
We were fortunate enough to be sitting here when JMA and Broderick, well, mostly JMA, was talking during that
Only
break.
JMA was talking.
And JMA talked about how the first point is so critical because they do have the momentum. They do have a chance here to continue to rack up that in their favor. So we'll see as they do get that first point if there is something to be said about riding that wave.
They didn't get that first point, 0-0-2 now. But they did get the first, an attempted side out. And JMA smells blood in the water, I think, right now. Saw it at the outset of Game 1 and then at the tail end of Game 2. You've got to imagine Cameron Luhring and Jonathan Truong are extraordinarily tired right now. They've been at this since about 10:45 this morning. Yeah. You kind of see it in the body language of Jonathan Truong right now, 101.
Right there. Yeah, the step, the quick step wasn't there that we saw earlier in the day. There's certainly something to be said for that. The tape is gone on his right knee, by the way, so maybe a hindrance in his mind. But either way, there's stuff like that where we've seen Luhring take those no problem previously, but that time into the net.
2:01 on the Medina Alvarez drive. 3:01 on the Medina Alvarez drive.
This is playing right into hands the paddles of Broderick and JMA. Medina Alvarez said, forget the initial strategy of slowing things down. Let's be the aggressor. Let's try to put this thing away quickly.
4:01 on a slower paced point there, played in the kitchen. But here come Medina Alvarez and Broderick, and you can see it, you can hear it from Jonathan Medina Alvarez. He has the medals, he has the notoriety in singles. He hasn't had a big victory in doubles yet. He hasn't, to your point, much earlier found that consistent partner to help him get there. Might this be the pairing that does that for him? Jaden Broderick, kind of the perfect complement. He's the Iceman. He doesn't say much. Mannerisms never change. 17, he respects that veteran wisdom. You can see it as he reacts to Jonathan's coaching and teaching. It'll be fun to see if these guys take this partnership forward in a way.
I totally agree, and I agree on your point too. Broderick's more of a sponge than anything when it comes to working with JMA, and that's the perfect thing to be. Like you mentioned, Broderick didn't say a word in between the games, just nodded his head. Meanwhile, JMA's talking him up, doing a great job, Poppy. And as you see, Broderick bringing that to fruition, and a great job on the earning.
Yeah, the instincts at such a young age is remarkable from Broderick. 0-4-2. You know, we were just talking about this in the break, Joe. The Waters, Anna Lee, she started out even younger, obviously, than Jaden Broderick, and in the spotlight, the perfect partner for her was her ultimate mentor, her mom, Lee Waters. It was interesting, Lee back playing again now off that pretty gruesome injury, but with Catherine Parento, and probably might be a partnership that sticks, but in the development, that was the perfect place and time for that partnership.
Right, and you don't know that to begin with, but you look at paper and say, okay, who's available, who could complement me in that way, and then, of course, you got to play. And even though JMA and Broderick really only play when they're in the area together, this might have to change. They may have to look at their tour schedule and see what matches up.
3-4 on a mini run there for Luhring and Truong, but that spike from Broderick puts a stop to it. 4-3-1. A few more points on the board. Not a great drop there from Broderick. Now he works his way in. Medina Alvarez, it's the second or third time we've seen him have a little trouble with that sweeping forehand dink. And again, that's the move over to the left side. You hit that shot a lot. In the long run, it'll be great experience for him. In the short run, it's frustrating him. Oh, a little overreach.
Yeah, and you could tell Truong lost his balance as well. Even after he hit that ball, he fell into the kitchen. So possibly if the ball got back over the net, it would have been a fault anyway.
And Luhring lost his balance there. And it's 6-3-2. I feel like you kind of stole a couple there if you're Medina Alvarez and Broderick, but a couple can be deadly in this scenario. All the way off the bicep to the ceiling. That's the velocity on that.
Yeah, you can't let them just hang up there for either one of these guys to come charging in at it. That's going to be the result most of the time.
7-3-2. And Medina Alvarez with the cry to the hometown fans after ripping the forehand ATP. By my count, he's 4 for 4 on those in this gold medal match. Closing in on a gold medal, 8-3-2. Broderick wants in on the fun, 9-3-2.
There's just a difference in the way that everything's coming off the paddle of these guys. The intensity is showing in their energy as well. They've got the advantage for sure.
Timeout, receivers. That's Luhring and Truong. It's 9-3-2. Couple of points towards double gold for Richmond's own JMA. Can he get the rest of the way? We'll find out shortly. And that was a sensational sequence there, 10-3-2, and you can see Medina Alvarez and Broderick just coming straight in, straight forward, charging straight towards goal.
There's a lack of touch with Luhring and Truong that we haven't seen yet today either. A lot more lobs playing right into the hands of Broderick and JMA.
JMA wanted that highlight winner, 10-3 shot, side out, 3-10-1. (4-10-1). You know Luhring and Truong are not going to go quietly off the effort they've put in today.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they still have great fundamentals, great athleticism, and they can take a speed up from anybody. Foot fault.
Foot fault called against Medina Alvarez, I believe. And it's 5-10-1. 5-10-1. Pressure dink from Broderick and from Medina Alvarez. And that was an awesome point. Luhring wound up hitting an out ball, but he did what he needed to with it. 6-10-1.
Yeah, sometimes you want to leave it, but man, if it's there, just go hard, and if nothing else, lose big.
Timeout taken by Medina Alvarez and Broderick. We'll keep it with you here, though, and remind you that if you're enjoying what you're seeing, if you're played in the tournament, now at home watching, enjoying the experience, we got so many more events coming up here at Performance Pickleball RVA. Next up, Caritas Paddle Battle. That'll benefit Caritas, just a one-day event. And that is on February 8th. So get over to pickleballbrackets.com, search Caritas, sign on up for that. Limited spots as it is a one-day event. We're also going to have the Ronald McDonald House Charities Shamrock Showdown in March. We're going to have the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation Spring Fling. These are all one-day jamborees here at Performance Pickleball RVA. And then we've got another big one, the Ladybug Classic, presented by Coca-Cola Consolidated. April 12th through the 14th, and then the Big Daddy, the Body Armor 804 Open. I just announced earlier, I'll reiterate, $20,000 cash prize pool to be split amongst the 5 open divisions, and that money is guaranteed. So get your partners together. In between, a couple of college events. We've got the Duper Regionals in March. We've got the Town Bank College Cup in February. We've got a comeback bid here from Truong and Luhring off the timeout, and it is 7-10-1. So hold everything. That last point, sometimes the hardest to get.
Yeah, dodged the bullet there, did Luhring and Truong, on what normally Broderick is able to put away.
That backhand with that reach from the 6'6" Broderick, it's just so deadly. It's almost as if he's on top of the net, just coming straight down on you. And here we'll go. We'll have 2 opportunities on the side out for gold for Broderick and Medina Alvarez. Tension of the moment leading to an unforced
Your point
error.
still holds. That last point sometimes really tough.
Medina Alvarez, 10-7-2. Wow, there it is. It took the tape to get to the finish line, but it's doubles gold for double gold for Jonathan Medina Alvarez and his protege, Jaden Broderick, as they go unblemished through this talent-packed Open Division doubles bracket. And man, what an impressive run for Medina Alvarez and Jaden Broderick. A new pairing is born, and Jonathan Medina Alvarez's legacy just grows here in his adopted hometown of Richmond.